Hello, seafaring captains. This is Captain Bond, one of the founders of NOCAP. I'm here today to talk to you about Research Bureau. But first, I get asked, who's that in the background on your intro that I made quite some time ago? That is actually my band. I can't play AC/DC because I'll get a copyright strike. And I just love the song Shot Down in Flames. That was my very first tribute band's first show like 10 years ago. And I'll leave a link in the description if you want to hear us now. It's obviously much different. Plus, the recording wasn't all that great. But I just love the song and couldn't use AC/DC. But let's get to the Research Bureau. The economics of the game were much different in the beginning of World of Warships. When I first started, you likely had to have premium. There certainly weren't as many flags. There weren't 50% credit bonuses in camos. There definitely wasn't the Wyvern and the Basilic and the Ouroboros flag. And you could only put 5 on a ship. You couldn't put the 21 flags on there. So gaining credits was a lot different. And so back then, you typically would, like my first ship was the Yamato. I would play the ship, but mostly because I was terrible, I couldn't play it all the time. So I had to buy a premium. The Tirpitz was probably the one that I played the most, maybe the Scharnhorst as well. But you had to have a premium boat. You had to have premium time if you wanted to maximize your credit so that you could afford to buy those ships and run the lines up and to keep playing at tier 10. So that was what you had to do to play the game. But then with the advent of all these things, the economics of the game, for me, completely went out of whack. One, I got better, so I was doing better in games. But secondly, with all those flags, I could make 1 million credits, 1.2 million credits with running all the flags, all the camos, and not in I didn't need the Missouri. I have the Missouri. I have 2 Missouris, but we're not gonna flex too hard on that. But you didn't need the Missouri to do it. You just needed the flags to make credits. And so let's look at the way wargaming has made those changes. So if you go back to if you go back a few devlogs ago, the wargaming talked about the separation of economics from the game. But that's really the culmination, and there may even be more to go, I don't know, but the culmination of things that they've already been doing to remove credits from the game. And they're trying to do it, obviously without overtly, taking credits from the game and taking away things that we already have because people don't like that. So they had to come up with different ways to do that. If you look at the super ships recently, they've stated, that you're going to have exceptional games to make credits, and they're really not going to be credit earners. And the whole idea to limit players from playing it is the whole credits. They want you to, and of course the cost of them as well is very high. You're looking at 90 million to 105 million just to fully equip a super ship. So it's almost as much as a whole line. But we have to go back to 2019 to the first introduction of getting credits out of the game. And that was done through the Research Bureau. Now, as everybody knows, wargaming usually has 2 ways to do things. One is the fast, impatient way, or the more impatient way. And then the other one is the slow and steady and less expensive. They've done it with the dockyard. They've done it with all kinds of stuff, and obviously now do it with the lines. So in the Research Bureau, I made a spreadsheet that NOCAP, our clan, uses, but I'm going to make it available to everybody. So I'm going to put the link in the description for that Google Doc, and anybody that's watching this that wants to go in and check it out and see all the numbers and really understand it. I'm obviously going to talk about it, but I made this spreadsheet for the clan so that they could understand the cost. So there are boats that are less expensive, and those are DDs typically. And then there are boats that are more expensive. So if you look at the spreadsheet, the Harugumo is the least expensive amount of XP to go from the bottom of the line to the top of the line. And the Montana is the most expensive. So if you use the method that Wargaming would prefer you to use, that would be to regrind a battleship. So if I regrind a battleship, it is going to cost me a lot more credits than it would cost with the Harugumo and free XP. It would cost a lot more free XP for the Montana than it would be the Harugumo. So if we look at the Harugumo, it is 676,640 XP to go from the bottom to the top. The Montana is 901,830, so it's a significant difference. It's actually 225,190 XP more to do the Montana line than it would be the Harugumo line. And then in the spreadsheet, if you look, the Ohio Slava, they take 7 resets or re-rolls in order to achieve, because they're 62,000 and 63,000 Research Bureau, and you get 10,200. So you're looking at 7 re-rolls in order to get it. So if you play a ship, and I call it regrinding, like you buy the ship, you reset the line, you reset the ship, you buy the ship. Of course, you're going to buy all the modules. You're going to do that because you actually have to play it and you have to win, and you have to do it for quite a while for some of the ships. It's going to cost you 1.5 million more XP to do the Montana than it will be the Harugumo. Now, the Harugumo and the Shimakaze are pretty close at 676 versus 694. So it's a pretty minimal difference between the two. Actually, it's 35,000 XP more for the Shimakaze. So not that much. So if you want to do it smartly, what you want to do is you want to use your free XP to free XP through the line and not buy the ships. By not buying the ships, you're going to save on your credits. So let's look at the credit side of this cost. The credits on required to do the Montana line is 101,931,100 credits to go the whole U.S. battleship line. The Harugumo line from start to finish costs 93,889,900. So it's not less than 10 million credit difference, but it's still, extra amount of credits that are spending 10 million, 9 million credits or whatever it is not chump change. That's quite a few games. So when you play those lines and you already own them, when you hit that reset button, it's gonna give you back half of the credits that you got. And then of course, any of the modules that you purchased they don't give you credits back. They leave it in your account so you have your aiming systems or your plotting systems one, or your torpedo reload, whatever equipment you have bought, you're going to keep that. You're not going to get your credit differential back. So we're in these credits, we're only talking about the ship and the modules. We're not talking about the different equipment that you can put on it. So let's look at the credit differential. So if you're a regrinder, and this is probably going to blow your mind, you probably didn't even realize this, and of course that's what Wargaming is really hoping that you're going to do. Let's just take the Montana first because it's probably the most extreme example. So we already know it's 1.5 million XP more to do the Montana line than it is the Harugumo. That's a lot. That's a lot of games to earn 1.5 million XP. If you look at the Montana and you regrind it, so you've spent 101,931,000 on all of the cost of the ships. When you click that reset button, you're going to get a refund of 50,965,550. You're going to get that amount of credits back. And then you're going to regrind the line, and you're going to buy all the equipment and modules and hulls and all that stuff all the way through. And that's the example that I'm going to use because that's what most people do when they play the line, because you need those extra things in order to actually do well in a boat. You're going to do that again, and you're going to spend another 101 million credits to regrind that line back up to the top. And then you're going to press the reset, and they're going to give you another 50 million in credits back, and you're going to do that again, and you're going to spend another 101 million credits. And I think you can see where this is going. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. You're looking at 356 million credits to regrind that Montana line. Now, if you do this in the Harugumo, it's obviously 93 million in cost. You'll get 46 million back, 46, 944, 950 back. And you'll do it again and again and again, 7 times to regrind it. And it's going to have a cost of 328,614,650 credits in order to regrind that line from start to finish. Now you'll save 1.5 million in XP doing the Harugumo line versus the Montana line, but it'll only save you 28 million credits. It's still going to cost quite a bit to regrind that line, but there's another way to do it. Now, I've heard people say, well, I'm going to only do the 2Xs. You could do the 2Xs, but it's still going to cost you. Now, this is regrinding. So if you do the 2Xs, you need to do the 2Xs 4 times. So that's 8 rerolls because you're getting an extra one for each time you click the reset button. But in order to get the Ohio, which I highly recommend, by the way, it's going to take 4 clicks of the reset button, waiting for those 2Xs. So I think that it would take an entire year to get one ship, but it's still going to cost a lot. So the 101, so let's do the Harugumo because it's less expensive. Let's say you finally wised up on the saving on the XP. You don't want to spend the extra 1.5. You decide I'm going to do the Harugumo. So it's 93 million in cost. You're going to get a refund of the 4.46 million credit refund. You do it again. You do it again. You do it again. You do it 4 times. It's going to cost you 186,779,800 credits to do that 4 times over the course of the year. So 187 million credits is still no joke. That's a lot of games that you have to play to get that back. And then, of course, how many Research Bureau boats are there? 7, something like that. So what is the savings? It's going to be a savings of 140 million credits by only doing the 2X regrind method. So you will save 140 million credits, but it's still going to cost you. So how do you do it and save the most amount of credits? So remember, Wargaming always gives you an out to save whatever it is that they're trying to do, and using your impatience against you. So if you are very patient, you can use the method of using FXP. And I'm going to show you in game how to do that, but let's go over the cost savings first. So if you have the ship, we have the Harugumo, and we sell the Harugumo, we're going to get 46 million credits back. I am going to regrind the Harugumo line. None. I'm not going to regrind it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click that reset button, and I'm going to use my free XP as I'm acquiring it in the game. So I'm going to get the ship, not buy it. Get the ship, not buy it. You know, research. I'm playing my other boats. I'm playing ranked. I'm playing clan battles. I'm playing whatever. I'm just playing the game. And as I accumulate my free XP, I research boats in the Harugumo line. And I do that all the way until I get to the Harugumo line. Now I've done that 7 times. I'm going to click that reset button, and I'm going to free XP, free XP, free XP, and I'm not going to buy the ships. And then on the 7th time, or however many times you need to do to get the ship, because there's ships that require 7 rerolls, 6 rerolls, and 5 rerolls, like the Paulo Emilio's 5 rerolls. You are going to, on the 7th time, you're going to actually buy the ship, but you're going to not buy all the modules. You're just going to buy the ship, not buy any equipment. Don't put a captain on it. Don't do anything. Now, I highly recommend that you do this on a line that you don't play regularly. For me, I love the Kitakaze, but I do not like the Harugumo. I'm just not a fan of it. So I don't really play it. And so I don't really miss it being gone. Now, if I was a Harugumo captain and I didn't like torpedo sneaky boats, then I would do the Shimakaze. Yeah, it'll cost me a little bit more in XP, but it's pretty low, 35,000. So I am going to, by doing that, my total credits required, are you ready? By using that method, my total credits required is 5,485,000 for that first time that I do that. But we know that you're only going to owe. So this is kind of an extreme angle. This is like the first time that you do it, because you bought everything. You did the whole line, and you did the Harugumo, and you played it, and that's where you got that 93 million, and then you get the 46 million refund, and then the next time you do it, you don't buy everything. It's only going to cost you 52 million, so it's going to save you about 40 million to get all those boats back when you buy them on the 7th time, only the 7th time, and then you sell it again. You're not going to sell it with all the stuff. You're going to get a lot less back. But that first time is only going to cost you 5.4 million credits. That's a savings of 323 million credits. Savings of 323 million credits. Now, how is this going on an ongoing basis? Well, that I don't have all the stuff on the Harugumo line, so my cost is only 52,430,000. So when I sell it on that refund, I get 26 million back, and I do that over and over again. My total cost and credits on an ongoing basis is 26 million credits. That's a saving of 1,000 credits. So if you do the free XP and only buy the ships once after the 7th, that Ohio is going to save you 302 million credits. So I've actually calculated, so like, hey, if I did a full regrind, what would it cost me? So if you did all the ships, so the ships of the Ohio, Slava, Colbert, Gibraltar, Druid, Vampire 2, Paulo Emilio, and Siegfried. So you're looking at 328 million, 281 million, 281, 234, and 234. So if you do it the way Wargaming would prefer that you do it, you ready? It is going to cost you, to get all of the Research Bureau ships, it's going to cost you 2.2 billion credits. Actually, 2,253,357,600 credits. That's how much it's going to cost you to get all the Research Bureau if you insist on regrinding. But as I showed you in the economics, the per line and less, So you're looking at a cost of about 175 million credits to get all of the Research Bureau points ships if you use the free XP reset method. So let's go into the game and I'll show you how I do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to click the reset button, and then once we click the reset button, actually reset the line. And then what we want to do is we want to go through and we're going to research the boats, but once again, we're not going to buy them, and we're going to do that 7 times. Now it might take you a few months to do it depending on how many flags you got, but we're going to keep, researching the ship, not buying the ship, research the ship, not buying the ship. And we're going to do that through the whole line. And when we get back to the Harugumo and we finish researching the Harugumo, all we're going to do is hit that reset button again. And we're just going to keep doing that over and over again until we've done it enough times. Now it'll show you how many reel rolls when you hover it over. It'll tell you how many times that you have it saved up. So in my case, in this example, when I click the 2x button, I had 4 re-rolls saved on the Harugumo line. So I have 4 of them, and with the amount of Research Bureau that I already had, that was enough for me to get the only ship that I didn't have, the Gibraltar. So now on the 7th time, or however many times, 6, 7, 5, 6, or 7, depending on what boat you're trying to get. Now you go through and you buy the boats, but don't buy any equipment. Don't buy anything. You're going to be able to. So then once you get all of the boats, and we have all the boats, we're going to take each one and we're going to go into a co-op battle, and we're going to do co-op games. No captain, no equipment, no flags, no camo, nothing. We're just going to go into a co-op battle. We're going to hit the W key, smoke up, kill some boats. It'll likely be a win. And we're going to do that for all of them until we get enough to get the Gibraltar. So after I play the co-op, I now have done this with the ship. I am going to spend my Research Bureau points, and I'm going to get the ship. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right back down and I'm going to hit the reset button, and I'm going to do it all over again. But I'm only going to buy it when I'm ready to get the ship that I have, when I have enough Research Bureau points in the bank, and I'm going to save literally billions of credits by doing it that way. And that's how you can preserve your credits in the game, and that'll give you more credits to play super ships. So like I said, this whole video is self-help for anybody with Research Bureau that wants to understand it better. I have a link for the Google Doc that we use in NOCAP, and I'm letting it out for anybody that wants to use it. So I hope this tutorial, or whatever you want to call it, helps you maximize the amount of credit so that you can play those super ships more often and really make people mad. Anyway, this is Captain Bond, founder of NOCAP, and I hope you found this video useful. Thanks so much.